Many have heard the term aura, but don't really know what it is or what its impact has on our lives. Some suggest it's some kind of weird mystical concept that lives in people's imaginations. I would like to suggest it's part of our human anatomy, even though you may not see it. Tonight, we're going to take a deep dive into what the aura does and how to heal it. Because I think with everything going on in the world, some healing is in order. Tonight on Thursday Night Live. Hello and welcome to Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise, and today we're going to take a deep dive into our auric field. So many people have heard the word aura and chakras, but don't really understand what they are. And so we can talk about the chakras another time. And actually, we have talked about the chakras on this show. But today we're going to be talking about the auric field. So the aura is the electromagnetic field around our body. It's like a giant egg or a giant bubble. And it's our first line of defense. It's our personal space. And we're all familiar with the concept of our personal space. And so as an example, if someone gets too close to you, like you're having a conversation, they kind of take that step in and it just makes us feel a little bit uncomfortable or creepy, depending on the person. It's because that person has actually penetrated the boundary of our auric field and stepped into it. And now we are feeling their energy. Our aura is our first line of protection. It says, this is me, this. And the aura extends 12 to 18 inches. I like to say like a short arm's length around the body. That is a very healthy place. Now, some people like to keep their aura in really close to them because it makes them feel safer. Not a very healthy positioning. And some people like to have their aura be like the size of a room so that they can feel like they're in control of everything that is going on. Again, not a very healthy place for the auric field to be. But one of the things that the aura does is it holds and stores our information. And so when we look out into the world, we are actually looking through the life circumstances that are going on in that moment through our auric field. And so some of that energy can be in front of us, some of it can be to the side of us. And sometimes when we don't want to look at it, we toss it behind us, but it is impacting us on multiple levels. And this energy can affect us physically, emotionally. It holds our projects, it holds our worries, and things that are active in our lives and in our consciousness as an example. So here's an example. So let's say we go outside and take a walk in nature, or we meditate, or we go to the gym, all of those things that help us let go of energy that we're holding on to. But the question is where are we holding on to that energy? And we are holding on to that energy in our auric field. And so when we are able to release what we're holding on to, we always feel good. And it always brings us back into the present moment. But here's a little caveat, which many people don't think about and definitely don't talk about, is that we can take on energy from other people and we can bring it into our auric field. And because it's in our auric field, we think that it's ours. And then we try to deal with it and come up with answers and solutions for it. So, as an example, and it's not ours. And so have you ever found yourself trying to solve a problem that's really somebody else's problem and not yours? Parents deal with this all the time. Um, where you have an adult child and they have an issue going on, and instead of saying, hey, that's your issue and you need to deal with it and come to me if you need some advice, they're in there and making phone calls and taking care of everything for them. And it's because they've allowed that other person's energy to get into their auric field, and now they're addressing it as if it's their own energy. I mean, this can happen in a work situation. It can happen in a relationship situation. It happens all the time. And, for individuals that do that, the bigger question is this mine? Is this my problem? Is this my energy? Because if the answer you get is no, and you're kind of obsessing about trying to come up with a resolution, and the reality is if it's somebody else's problem, you can never come up with a resolution. You maybe can make suggestions, but unless they do it and they take care of it, you're never going to be able to get it out of your space. And so if you find that you're doing that, I would like to suggest that maybe you stop and ask that question: is this me and is this mine? Because if it's not mine, then why am I dealing with it? My caveat is, if you have young children, under the age of 18, or if you have elderly parents, they get the pass, because many times you have to interject on their behalf. But if they're an adult child, then, maybe they need to figure it out for themselves. Obviously, you can be there for them, but how much are you really taking on and taking away from their ability to experience life and potentially experience their own karma? Because the reality is you can't fix it. You can't fix it for them. They have to fix it for themselves. And that energy, especially when we take on other people's energy, can be insidious and overwhelming. And again, no solution. And with how the energy has been on the planet lately, I thought I would talk about this, but also that we would sit there and do a aura healing meditation. And so I invite you to bookmark this episode so that you can come back to this meditation. And it's not about listening to the meditation. It's more about learning the technique and using the technique anytime you want. I have found doing this practice in your car while you're driving, maybe not so good, but if you're, sitting in your house, sitting on the porch, or the passenger in a car, you've had something uncomfortable happen that you need to discharge energy of something that's going on in the present moment. This is a great tool to pull out of your tool bag and use. And whenever you do any kind of energy work, it really is a mindfulness practice, because you are taking your mind and your intention and focusing it in on this one thing, which helps other energy to drop off. Okay, so first, I would like for you, I know you're watching the show, but just, if you have it on your phone, put your phone down and just get comfortable wherever you're sitting. If you're in a chair, on your sofa, you're sitting in your bed, I just want you to get comfortable and relaxed wherever you are. And then go ahead and close your eyes and take a nice deep breath in and hold it and exhale out of your mouth. And again, in through your nose and hold it, and out through your mouth. And one more time, in through your nose and hold it, and out through your mouth. And so we've covered this in an earlier show, and we're going to integrate this. And this is the creation of a grounding cord, because when you do any kind of energy work, you want to make sure that you have a grounding cord in place. And so in your mind's eye, I would like for you to imagine that there is a giant, like, bathtub drain coming out from the base of your spine, going all the way down to the center of the planet. Now, some people find that having like a giant tree root emerging from that first chakra, going down to the center of the planet, feels better. You know, whatever image works for you, that's going to give you the opportunity to let go. Have that form in your mind's eye. And have it anchored down deep and root itself into the earth. And then go ahead and let's just set that on release and allow the body to just start draining energy from the top of the head and moving down the body to the forehead, to your eyes, to just below your nose, and maybe you feel like you can kind of see a little clearer, and past your mouth and down your neck and to your shoulders, and moving down your back vertebrae by vertebrae, taking a nice deep breath as we move through this exercise. And just notice, you know, the difference between the upper part of your body and the lower part of your body, where you've already started letting go of this energy. And have that level continue down, further down the spine, breathing nice and deeply as it keeps going further and further down till it gets to your hips and moves down your hips, to your legs, to your feet, and all the way down that grounding cord. And notice how good that feels to have that stagnant energy leave your body. So when we see things in our mind's eye, there's what we think it should be, and then there's what we actually see. And with the auric field, in many people, it doesn't necessarily come all the way down around the body and underneath our feet and tucking into that grounding cord. And so I would like for you just to kind of check in to see if that auric field is tucked in nicely below you. And there's no right or wrong. Mine always pops up and I'm constantly pulling it back down and tucking it back in. So it's okay if that's what you find. And we're going to set that aura, set your aura on release. And before we move on, let's just take a couple of nice deep breaths. So breathing in through the nose and holding, and out through the mouth. And in through the nose, and hold it, and out through the mouth. Great. So when you're doing energy work, or when I'm doing energy work, I like to employ different tools. And trust me, I have brought in all kinds of weird things, backhoes and needles with threads and all kinds of weird stuff. But for this exercise, just to make it be easy, I want everybody to actually, if you're right-handed, hold your right hand up and imagine that you have a squeegee, you know, like the kind you clean your windshield off with, in your hand. And while you're holding your hand up, kind of tip it side to side. And you may notice that there's kind of a little weight in your hand as you're moving it back and forth. And just notice how that feels. And so actually, I'm going to add something in that I was not planning. I want everybody to put their squeegee down for one quick second. And I want you to grab that bottle of Windex with the spray top. And I want you to spray the whole inside of your aura with Windex. You know, the front, the back, the top, the bottom. Just give it a good spray like you're cleaning your windows or cleaning your windshield off, all the way down and even around your grounding cord. Good job. Because, you know, if they're stuck on dirt, that Windex is going to help to lift it. Okay. So let's go ahead and pick that squeegee back up. And I want you to start at the very top of your head, like over your head, because your auric field, remember, is about 12 to 18 inches from you. So with the squeegee facing away from you, I want you to take the squeegee and squeegee down your auric field in front of you. You know, so in front of your face, down your midline, down in front of your legs, and kind of tuck it in underneath that grounding cord. And then move over a little bit. And again, starting at the top of your head, take that squeegee and move it down your body. You know, and if you find like there's stuff stuck on there, it's okay if you use that squeegee to kind of scrape it off. And you can go as fast as you need or as slow as you need. And keep doing that all the way around your body. And really be sure to make sure you get the back, because, you know, that's where we take all of the stuff we really don't want to deal with and we throw it back there. Because we'll take care of it later, or we'll take care of it at some other point in time. And just move that energy out and just allow it to release. And all of those sudsy bubbles from the Windex to just drain down that grounding cord drain that we created at the beginning. And work your way all the way around your aura. Until you come back to the front. And go ahead and let's take a nice deep breath in. And take a moment to notice how that feels. You know, can you see more clearly? Do you feel a little bit more centered, a little bit more present in the moment? Do you feel a little bit lighter? Sometimes it makes people feel maybe even a little bit tired because they've been running on adrenaline energy. You know, but this is you with a much clearer space than you started with before. And just notice how that feels. And notice how simple that was to do and how it really didn't take any time. And so many people have the belief that meditation should take a long time. But if you combine meditation with things like energy work, you can really work through a lot in a very short period of time. So let me know what you think of this meditation, what you think about this aura cleansing. I feel like there's been just so much going on the planet, and things are just moving so fast in our lives that having some tools to work with are just very helpful at this time. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you come back to this over and over, and we'll use it. And again, if there's something going on in your life and you would like for me to work with you and doing some energy work with you, just reach out to me at my webpage. Okay, actually, let me go over here to soulhealer.com. Skip the live part, but soulhealer.com. And we can set up a time for a private consultation. So before we go, I would just love it if wherever you're watching this show, whether you're watching it on YouTube or Substack or Twitter or Rumble, I'm also on BitChute. If you would subscribe to my channel or give the show a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. It really helps you in the algorithm and makes it so that it can spread, because it would make me happy. How's that? Okay, guys, great. Thank you so much. And okay, let's turn that off. And before this part ends and we move on to the reading part, if you're listening to the show and you would like to join us and hear this beginning part, but also get a free on-air psychic reading, the best place for you to go is YouTube, and that's Just Energy Radio on YouTube. So at Just Energy Radio, 7 p.m. Central every Thursday night. We would love to have you here. But through that webpage, you can join the chat. Okay. And so thank you, guys. Okay, so let's get this party started. And so I'm just going to express, the rules of engagement, and we will go from there. So if you would like to get a reading, what you need to do is to say, go in the chat and say, hey, Dr. Rita, I would really like to get a reading. Oh, and your hair looks marvelous. Can I have a number 3? And so you can give me a number 1 through 3. And that's how many times I will shuffle the cards on your behalf and do the reading. But if there's a lot of people in line and you get here a little bit later and you're afraid you're not going to get your reading, because I do end at 8 o'clock sharp, you can do things like you can jump the line. So you can go to soulhealer.com/live and click on the jump the line link, and it will send me an email, and you will be the next person in line that will get a reading. So if you're at the bottom, you can jump the line. If you have a specific question, so I'm just doing a 1-card draw here. If you have a specific question that you would like to ask, also on soulhealer.com/live, there's a link where you can ask Dr. Rita, and you can ask me a specific question, and you get to jump the line as well. And while you're there, there's also a link for the tip jar. So if you want to leave me a little something, I would always appreciate it. Okay, come on, mouse, work. Okay. All right, so let's see what we got going on. Hi, everybody. And we have Christine. She's the first in the house. Hey, Christine. And she says, hello, your hair looks amazing. Thank you. May I have a reading number 3, please? And thank you. You sure can, Christine. Okay, so Christine, that's what you got. So for anybody that's new here, when these cards come up, they're called mass cards. And they usually indicate where there's an energy blocked, or there's some denial, or there's something you don't want to look at. And I will keep pulling cards until I feel the energy has cleared and shifted, because that's usually what's sitting behind everything, or what you need to do in order to get rid of the blockage. And actually, Christine, I'm going to go with this one. The card after it was pretty similar, but I'm going to go with this one. So, Christine, I just get the impression that, something has happened, like obviously very recently, like today probably, that just irritated you. And I feel like it made you kind of stop and question. And what they're saying to me is, you be you, and you use your energy for how you want to do it. And you shouldn't have to stop yourself or adjust yourself in order to meet someone else's criteria or in order to make someone else comfortable, because by you making them comfortable, you are actually taking away from yourself and your health and your well-being. And so it's okay to consider them, but I want to suggest that you need to consider you too. Okay? Okay, so let's see. So it's Yvonne is next, and she says, "Hi, Dr. Rita. I appreciate you and your work. Plus, your hair looks great. Thank you very much. Can I get a reading number 2, please?" You sure can, Yvonne. Okay, so let's see what this has to say. And that's your card for today. I have a fly right there, which is just going to annoy the crap out of me. So I'm not quite sure what this really has to do with, but your energy just keeps saying, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Let's get this thing moving. I kind of feel like you again. I mean, and it's not, Yvonne, I'm going to say this to you because I feel like we keep, you keep getting these readings and it always seems like you're at a crossroads. And I feel like where the energy on the planet is right now, I feel like it's a crossroads for everyone, trying to figure out how to move forward and how to navigate. Because it's kind of crazy. I mean, my new line, is that it's moving too fast. And you don't get the opportunity to really ground into something and make something move forward and manifest. And I'm just feeling like having that be okay, hard as that may be, will make you feel better and maybe take away some of the anxiety that something is supposed to be happening. I don't really have an answer about what's supposed to be happening. And I'm not really feeling like anything is happening. I'm feeling like it's more, well, let's just make it through day to day and maybe finding joy in navigating the day and going to bed feeling whole and that you've gotten something done, and being content with that is where the focus needs to be. Not on the, oh, I moved this forward, but on the, I got through the day. I hope that makes sense. And please make a comment about that below. I would love to hear what you have to say. Okay, let's see. And we have Miss Unar, and she says, "Good evening, all. May I have a 3, Dr. Rita? Thanks." You sure can, Unar. Okay, that's your card for today. So I have a feeling that we're going to be having a theme night tonight. Unar, so I just feel like, and excuse my French, but that you're just kind of tired of the shit and you really are just wanting to plant seeds and grow and move forward and get out of whatever this is. I just feel like you're tired of it. You're tired of the nonstop spinning, and I don't know, heart energy, heart energy. Um, I mean, I just get the impression that you are used to being and feeling grounded in the things that you do and the how you move forward in life. And I'm feeling like you have not been feeling that way. And again, you're just tired of it. And I don't disagree with you at all. Like I said, I have a feeling it's going to be a theme night tonight. And I'm going to tell you, so I did. Okay, so hang on a second. So Christine got a mask card. Yvonne, the card right after yours was a mask card. Unar, the card right after yours was a mask card. So I have a feeling like, I mean, I don't know. I bury them in the deck and I don't know how that works. Okay, so let's see. And it's Miss Amy. Hey, Miss Amy. She says, hey, Dr. Rita, happy Thursday. May I have a number 2 reading, please? Thank you. And you sure can, Amy. Okay. I got nothing. I mean, I'm just shuffling and I keep sticking them at the bottom of the deck and I don't cut from the bottom. All right, Amy. All right, I'm going to go with this card as the clearing, but you had all of these there. Totally theme night tonight. Okay, so Amy, I mean, I also get that you're pretty tired of it. And I feel like you keep trying to use your tools and you keep trying to like get in the present and you keep trying to do the things that have worked for you in the past to bring you focus, to bring you into a good place. And I feel like nothing's really working right now, which I could say for everybody else that I've read, it's kind of that a very similar energy. I feel like, you know, there's almost this, you know, damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of energy sitting behind it. And, you know, it's like, well, I could do this, but it's like, well, I'm not really feeling it. Well, I could do this. Well, I'm not really feeling it. You know, so, you know, I'm just feeling like what you're looking for is inner peace and it's eluding you. And I don't necessarily have an answer. I mean, I can use the PAT stuff, you know, do grounding, do tapping, do meditation. But I feel like even those tools right now, and I'm saying this to you, Amy, but I'm saying this kind of in general to everyone, that those tools aren't really working right now. So I'm a little bit out of a loss. And I don't usually have a loss, but you know, and maybe just bringing up that this is where the energy is, and this is where the planet is, and this is where the vibration is, that you can just sit there and say, okay, this is where the energy is. And I just need to accept that and surrender. Ooh, good word. Surrender to this is where it's at. And you don't have to like it, but maybe you could be more okay with it and not get frustrated with it, because the frustration is not good, you know, but sitting there going, okay, this sucks. And then, you know, being okay with it having suck is a much better energy to be in. You know, Eckhart Tolle talks about, you know, you can do things with a negative energy and a negative space, but if you can at least get neutral to it, it really shifts the energy and you're a lot less affected by it. And so I'm suggesting to you and to everyone So perhaps you can become neutral to it. You can surrender to it. Doesn't mean give up, but let go of the charge, because it's not you. I mean, that's the biggest thing. It's not you. That energy, since we've talked about the aura, that energy has pervaded your auric field. And I think we're all experiencing it and not really knowing what to do with it. And maybe, see, I love doing readings because I start one place and end up somewhere totally different. And so now I just kind of answered my own question. Maybe the question I need to ask myself, and you can all ask yourselves, is where I'm at and what I'm feeling and this discomfort, is that really my energy? And do an inventory of, I have a place to live, I have food, I have, money that I can live on, my car works, and take an inventory of what's going on in your personal world, because sometimes that can take that energy that has like permeated our auric field and move it out. So, Amy, I know that it was your reading, but I feel like it was an educational moment for everyone today. So thank you. Even me. Okay, we're going to bury that mask card down there. All right. Okay, and we got Austin Exit America. Hey, Austin. He says, hi, Dr. Rita. Could I please get a reading number 3? And you can, Austin. Okay. Whew, not a mask card. So there's that. Okay, that's your card for today. Okay, so Austin, I'm going to say something, and I'm really kind of hoping it's not like a true thing, but I'm just going to say it anyway. But I am hoping that in order to deal with the energy of what's going on, instead of kind of living through it and just dealing with it, that you are not doing things to mask it. Things that are of, and I'm going to say of an addictive type nature, food, drugs, alcohol, gambling, whatever. And that you would choose a more healthy way of navigating your space. I mean, when I look at you, it's like when I just feel like there's like this big old honk of energy sitting in the middle of your 4th chakra. I feel like there's this part of you that really wants to cry and dump. I feel like there's a lot of uncertainty in your space. But join the club. None of us know what the hell's going on. So maybe acknowledge that, and not run from it, work through it. So as I said, surrender to it, because sometimes life is uncomfortable. Sometimes our feelings are uncomfortable, but it's better to work through and deal with our feelings, uncomfortable as they may be, than to mask them. Okay. Oh, and look, what was right underneath your card? Okay, so let's see. And we got Don. Don. Hey, Don. And he says, I can't believe I'm here on time. You look great tonight. Thank you, Don. Can I get a number 3 reading? You sure can, Don. Okay, let's see. You know, you would think that I just had like a little pile of these. Again, and I'm telling you, I put them at the bottom of the deck. Okay, Don, what do you have going on? I'll go with that one there. So I'm going to read this card for you, but there were two prior to that. Okay, so Don, I don't know if this is a decision that you need to make, or you know where you want to put your energy, which is kind of a decision, or that there is something that you want to do, which again is kind of a decision. You know, because you can choose to do it or you can choose to not do it. You know, it's always choices. And I would like to suggest that you should just do it. I feel like there's this idea or this thing that has come up for you and it's calling your attention. It keeps raising itself in your awareness. And this other part of you is like, no, Don, you don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. Screw that part. Screw that part. You know, sit there and feel into that new vibration and allow it to fertilize in you, to grow in you, because it will manifest into something else and into something better. But stop fighting with yourself about it, okay? Just do it. Okay. All right, gonna give these things another good shuffle. You know, I don't think I've had so many mass cards come up in one evening. Okay. Okay, and we have 110 Gaia. Hi, 110 Gaia. And she says, hi, Dr. Rita. May I have a reading? I have a number 3. Thank you. You sure can. 110. Well, no. Whatever. Miss Gaia. I'm assuming it's Miss Gaia. It's not 110. But okay. All right. Not a mass card. All right. That's your card for today. Okay, so this is kind of different. So I get the impression that, and I'm just going to say it this way, that you've kind of had a little bit of a history of being a procrastinator or just not doing things that need to be done until kind of the 11th hour. And I feel like you're kind of tired of that last minute energy. And so you are doing things more in like when they're presenting themselves to you so that you can, I feel like it's been more important for you to knock things off your list because it feels better and it feels more freeing than have this giant list and have that be overwhelming and not really getting anything done. So good job. That's really good progress on your part because as you can see, it takes away the anxiety of I have all of these things to do and I'm not getting anything done. So good job. Good job. All right. And we have ERRT Radio, and he says, happy Thursday, Dr. Rita. A little late today, but I am here. Your hair looks amazing. May I have a reading number 3, please? And you sure can. ERRT Radio. let's see. Okay, and that's your card for today. Okay, so ERRT radio, I kind of get the impression that you're kind of tired of it also. I feel like that earlier, I'm going to say earlier in this week, that there was something that was upsetting to you. And I feel like you are, in the process of letting go of that energy. I get the impression that it's a little bothersome to you that your energy has been a little bit all over the place. I want to convey to you that it's not just you. It's not just you. So just for the fact that you are in the releasing place, that's a good thing. And I feel like you want to go and kind of pick through everything and get rid of everything. And I'm not feeling like that now's the time to do that, or that you could necessarily make good discernment in the energy right now. I think you understand what I mean by that. Let me know. Comments below, everybody. Okay, let's see. All right, so we have Pearl, and she says, "Hi, Dr. Rita. Oh, hi, everyone. Dr. Rita, your hair looks terrific. And as always, may I please have a reading with a shuffle of 3?" And you sure can, Pearl. Okay, and that's your card for today. Okay, so Pearl, I don't know how old you are, and this isn't an age thing, but I get the impression, and this is kind of like a long range thing, that when you were younger, that you were kind of, I'm going to say, naive, and you accepted a lot of things as they were and just really wanted to go with the flow. How's that? But I feel like you've learned that maybe that's just not the best way to deal with life in general. I feel like you ask a lot more questions. I feel like, I often make comments to people about, like, going back to school and getting an education, but I don't necessarily mean like going to a brick and mortar school, but it's about learning about things or becoming more aware about things, or, gaining more information so that you can, make it through life easier or better or whatever. And I feel like you are kind of in that phase right now of gathering information and kind of reforming like what you think reality is, because I feel like who you are now, mentally, who you are now, if we went back in time, is not that person anymore. So hopefully this is all good, and where you have moved forward to has put you into a better place, like in the big picture of things. I mean, I think so, because you can become the conscious driver of your life versus just the unwilling recipient to whatever is passing by. So would love to hear what you have to say about that. Oh, your next card. Good thing. Okay. Okay. Hey, Miss Punja. She says, hello, Dr. Rita. How are you? I am good. May I have a message number 1, please? You sure can. Okay, and that's your card for today. Okay, so this is kind of weird. So I'm getting like 2 different things both at the same time. One, that you've been feeling hot. So I don't know if there's something physical going on. Like I'm not meaning like outdoor temperature. I mean, unless like you're in a house with no air conditioning, which could leave you hot at this point. But more like this internal heat that's just a little bit uncomfortable. So like depending on your age, this kind of has a feeling of like a hot flash. I hope that there's not something wrong with you because it does seem above temperature. So I'm just going for the hot flash myself. But I want to congratulate you. I feel like one of the things you're doing is trying to figure out ways to nurture yourself and take care of yourself. And I want to congratulate you for really kind of focusing in on that and you and your health and well-being. So good job. Good job. And, I am curious where that heat is coming from. And I hope that there isn't something wrong with you, that your body is producing that kind of heat, because it just doesn't feel right to me. Okay, so I guess ERRT Radio, like the meditation or the aura clearing, he says, I feel lighter. Like, thanks. All right. And then Pearl said, love the meditation. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Okay, and we have Living in Love. Hey, Living in Love. And it says, hi, Dr. Rita. I appreciate you and your work. Plus, your hair looks great. Thank you. Actually, it came out pretty good today. Can I get a reading number 2? And you sure can, Living in Love. Okay, and that's your card for today. Okay, I'm getting tired around you too. I feel like you have been like working on, and I'm going to say emotional baggage. I feel like you have been like cleaning out the closet and getting rid of a bunch of junk that's not really working for you. I mean, I get the impression that there's, being physically tired, but also emotionally tired. You kind of keep suggesting that you're waiting for the sun to shine back on you again, that the light, that you've been missing the light, which kind of goes along with everything that I've been talking about today. So I'm going to say, okay, well, you're just part of that phase. Welcome aboard. And I'm going to say this to you, but I think that this goes to everyone. I think making rash decisions without really spending time thinking about it or contemplating it, or if it's something really big and really important, maybe getting a reading from me to get someone on the outside to look at it, to make sure that you are that you're not letting like your emotional space run the show, I think would be really good. Like I said, I could speculate where this energy is coming from, but I'm not going to. But it needs to end. Oh, look what that next card was. Dang. I don't think I've ever seen so many mass cards show up on this show ever, ever, ever. So Christine says, makes sense. Thank you. Thank you, Christine. And then ERRT Radio says, everyone practice the meditation from this show. If you keep it going, at least whenever you need to, or once a week. I mean, there's whenever you need to. Yeah, I mean, I think that, once you get used to doing the exercise, then you can just employ it at any point in time. Like, all right, I sometimes do it in my car, but it's taken me a long time to get to the place that I can drive and yawn and focus on doing that exercise in my car, so, but no, I agree with ERRT Radio. Thank you. And then he said 4 in a row. It's like, no kidding. And then Yvonne says, yes, hurry up and crossroads, just trying to trust each moment right now. I hear you. And it's like, I don't even know that I trust each moment right now. So, and then Unar says, oh, what a great reading. Makes a lot of sense. Thanks again. You're so welcome, Unar. And then we have, what time is it? All right, you're my last one. And we have Janie. I'm just going to say Janie. And she says, hi, Dr. Rita. Can I get a reading? And the hair and cut are fabulous. Good new moon energies to you. And thank you. So you didn't give me a number. I'm running late. So I'm going to give you a 2. A 2, Janie. Janine. I know the letters are very small on the screen, and I have no phonics skills. So, and it's one giant word. So just please forgive me if it's not the right name. Okay. And welcome to the show, because you are a new name to me. And that's your card for today. Interesting. Okay, so you are waiting for the UFOs to come and take you away, and you're waiting for your Calgon moment. I get the impression, and this is kind of interesting, and I'm going very weird here for you, but I feel like when you bring in universal energy, cosmic energy in through your 7th chakra, that you are actually reaching over there to not this planet, but somewhere else to bring it in. It feels a lot better to you. I feel like, okay, I don't mean to be too weird, but I feel like you are a fairly new incarnate on this planet. I feel like people seem weird to you. This planet seems weird to you. You still hold allegiances to this other place. And that's where you find your joy and bliss. And I hope that that just wasn't too weird for you and kind of resonates with what you've like felt underneath, and that you'll come back to the show. Okay, guys, I'm going to scroll through this really super fast, not doing any more readings, but so if you want, just come back next week. All right, Amy says, thank you for the reading. All good. Heads up to the tip jar. Thank you, Amy. I really appreciate you. Leave me a little something every week. And then Dawn says, you're right again. I had to send my ECU for my Tacoma, something to be fixed. Should have it done in 2 months ago. Maybe that's what you're picking up. Okay. All right. And then Sculpted says, how would you Windex the aura other than bath? So you get your spritzer bottle, like you're cleaning your windows, and so that you have a sparkly, clean auric bubble with Windex. It's all about imagination. It's all about intention. That's how you can Windex your aura. ERRT Radio, right on point again. The meditation will do great as I remember to do it. Okay, guys, I am going to go. I will see you all next week. Oops, let me turn that off. Till then, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. This is Thursday Night Live. Be blessed.